Good afternoon, everyone. We all live for the highlight reels, don't we? The perfect sunsets, the triumphant smiles, the summit shot. And after Kilimanjaro, that's what my friends saw. A picture of a grinning and pretty exhausted teenager standing at the top of Africa. That was a true picture, but it also wasn't the whole truth. Maybe even less. Because the whole story, the real, the messy, the meaningful story, is what we never see. It's what's behind the real. My own story with mountains started young, with trekking, since I was 7. It was the first time a summit demanded. Kilimanjaro was different. It was the first time a summit demanded something of me that I hadn't learned to give yet. The cost of a full night. Summit day began at midnight. Not at dawn, at midnight. 1 minute, you're trying to get yourself to sleep, and the next, you wake up and unzip your tent to a freezing cold that's so sharp it feels like a physical slap. And the dark, it's a total swallowing dark. You fumble for your headlamp, you click it on, and just like that, the world in front of you gets very, very small. That little circle of light isn't showing you a mountain anymore. It's showing you the ice on the ground and the boots of the person ahead. And for that night, that's your entire universe. And then there's the breathing, or the lack of it. At that altitude, the air is so thin, it feels like your lungs are suddenly useless. You're taking these big and dramatic gulps, but it still feels like you're breathless. Your head starts to get light and your thoughts get slow. It's like your brain is buffering. And the good news is that you have the entire night ahead of you. Oh, and the cold. Let's not forget the cold. You wear every layer you own, and somehow you still feel it. That deep bone ache that no puffy jacket is able to defeat. I remember my fingers inside 2 pairs of gloves, and they were aching with a dull and persistent sting. I wanted to complain, and I wanted to say how hard it was, but I couldn't, because behind me were my parents, my partners in adventure since I could walk. And for the first time on a mountain, I could see that they were struggling too. And for my entire life, they had been my biggest support system with every adventure we went on. But this time, I knew that I needed to be theirs. And I just had to climb, because I didn't want them to worry about me, not this time. So I kept my head down and kept going. So that's what I had to do for the next few hours. My world shrank to just 3 things: the crunch of my boots, the cloud of my own breath in my headlamp's glow, and the silent mantra in my head. It's only a few more hours, just a few more hours. And in that moment, I wasn't climbing Kilimanjaro anymore. I was just negotiating with the next 10 steps, and the next 10 after that. And for over 7 hours, that was it. It was just me, the dark, and the sound of my restless mind. And then something magical happened. The darkness began to fade as the sun rose up. The black turned into gray, and it faded away. And as we trudged past Stella Point, the colors began to seep into the sky. First, it was a line of gold, and then there were pinks and oranges that colored the sky and made it so beautiful and set the glaciers on fire. We'd been climbing for so long now that my body began to feel all kinds of pains. And then, with maybe 200 meters left, I saw it. The true summit, Uhuru Peak. That famous, humble wooden sign silhouetted against a sky that now looked like a full-blown celebration. And I just stopped. My eyes instantly filled with tears, and I was completely surprised. It wasn't exactly a feeling of joy. It was just a huge emotional release. Every silent complaint, every frozen finger, and every gasped breath where I thought, I can't. But my legs kept going. It all gathered up and dissolved right there. It turned into one clear point in my head, that I am here, and I did not give up. And that photo that my friends saw, it's a true picture, but it's only the post-credit scene. The real director's cut, the 3 a.m. existential bargaining, the weight of the quiet strength, the universe that shrunk to the size of a headlamp beam. That was the part that didn't stay on the mountain. It was the part that came home with me. Because we all have our own midnight climbs, don't we? Maybe yours has a desk instead of a ridge. It's the final draft that's due at dawn climb, where your brain is empty and success feels so far away. And maybe it's the strong one climb, where you have to be strong for your loved ones in a moment where you don't feel so strong yourself. And maybe it's the personal goal climb, where your progress is invisible and everyone else seems to be on this highway and you're stuck taking one step ahead of the other on a dark path. Your version of that climb and your version of that thin air and cold can be different, but we all know that feeling. And we get so much advice about keeping our eyes on the peak and visualizing our success. But that night on the mountains taught me the opposite. That real work happens when you look down. Success is too big, it's too far away. Your job is to find the next 3 feet under and to have your own mantra. Just this one email, just this one conversation, just 5 more minutes. You don't have to believe that the dawn is coming. You just have to decide to keep walking until it arrives. The summit is just a location, but the climb, the dark, the gritty, unphotogenic middle part, that where you're not sure if you could keep going and you're uncomfortable and you do it anyway, that's not a location. That is a transformation, and that's where we are built. The highlight reel is the trophy you put on a shelf, but the resilience, the patience, and that quiet fortitude that you earned behind it, that's the new muscle in your heart. That's what you get to keep forever. So yes, celebrate the reels. The finished projects, the graduations, the summit photos, they're real. But honor the dark climbs that got you there. Your story isn't just written in the brilliant sunrise of your achievements. It's written in the quiet dignity of the long night you've spent before it. And that story, your story, it's forged entirely behind the reel. And it's the one that truly defines you. Thank you.